Sometimes, without explanation or reason, someone occupies your thoughts. It could be a lover, a friend, a family member, or even a stranger whose presence in your life had a brief but powerful impact. You find yourself thinking about them at odd moments, during a busy workday, when you're in the middle of a conversation with someone else, or even in the quietest moments when you least expect it. The mind is a fascinating and complex space, and the way it works when it comes to people is no less intricate. Why does someone become so present in your thoughts? Is it simply love, or is there more to it? At its core, the reason someone might always be on your mind is that they've left a mark on you. Human beings are wired for connection. We thrive in relationships, whether they're platonic, familial, or romantic. When someone impacts you emotionally, whether positively or negatively, they create a mental imprint that your brain naturally keeps revisiting. It's an automatic response to a significant experience or emotion attached to that person. Take, for instance, the experience of love. When you're in love, your brain releases chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin. These chemicals not only make you feel euphoric, but also reinforce the connection to the person you love. This is why, when you're apart, your thoughts keep returning to them. Your brain is reinforcing that bond and seeking that feeling of joy, warmth, or comfort that this person brings. But the reasons someone stays on your mind aren't always tied to positive experiences. Sometimes it's because of unresolved feelings. Perhaps the relationship ended on a sour note, or you never had the closure you needed. The mind tends to linger on unfinished emotional business, trying to make sense of what happened. It might replay moments of joy and pain, looking for answers, closure, or understanding. In these instances, thinking about the person becomes a way for the mind to try to solve a puzzle that's left unsolved in the heart. Even beyond emotions, there's a psychological aspect to this phenomenon. Our brains are designed to form attachments and memories based on what's meaningful to us. When someone makes a significant impact on your life, whether through kindness, anger, love, or even tragedy, your brain takes note and keeps returning to that person because it has recognized their importance to your story. It's a reminder that this person, in one way or another, played a role in shaping who you are today. The mind also has a curious way of using people as reference points for certain aspects of our lives. We often compare our current relationships or situations to those we've had with others, and in doing so, the person who occupies your thoughts may become the measuring stick by which you gauge other interactions. This could be because they represented something you long for, or perhaps, conversely, because they symbolize something you're trying to avoid. From a physiological perspective, the human brain is constantly processing emotions, memories, and sensory input. When someone becomes a frequent presence in your thoughts, it's because your brain is making associations. Every time you see something that reminds you of them, your mind brings up their image, their voice, or even specific moments you shared together. Your senses play a significant role in this as well. A scent, a place, or a song can act as a trigger, bringing that person back into your awareness. But beyond the chemistry of the brain, there's also the simple fact that people matter. We are social beings, and our thoughts and feelings are often shaped by the relationships we form. When someone is important to you, you can't help but think about them. It's part of the way we live, love, and make meaning in this world. Sometimes, the person who lingers in your thoughts is someone who has brought out the best in you, someone who inspires you to grow, to push yourself to new limits, or to be better. Other times, it may be someone who's hurt you or left you with questions that remain unanswered. Regardless of the nature of the relationship, the fact remains that they've become a part of your inner narrative. Their influence doesn't simply fade away. It continues to resonate, sometimes without you even realizing it. So, if you find yourself constantly thinking about someone, try not to view it as a burden or a sign of obsession. It could just be a reflection of the deep connection and impact this person has had on your life. Whether it's love, loss, or something in between, it is a reminder that we are all shaped by our relationships, and sometimes the people who are always on our minds are those who have the most profound influence on who we become. In the end, the presence of someone in your thoughts is a testament to the human capacity for connection, for reflection, and for emotional growth. We are not simply solitary beings. We are a tapestry of experiences, interactions, and relationships. And Sometimes, those people we can't stop thinking about are simply the ones who matter most in our journey. We all experience moments when someone seems to occupy our thoughts incessantly. This person might be a lover, a friend, or someone who has left a deep impression on our lives. We often wonder why they are so prominent in our minds, why their presence, even in absence, feels so tangible. This thought often leads us to reflect on the nature of human connection and the factors that influence our emotions and memory. The first reason someone might be on your mind is emotional attachment. Human beings are wired for connection, and the people we become emotionally attached to often become deeply ingrained in our thoughts. Whether it's a romantic partner, a close friend, or a family member, these relationships trigger an emotional response within us. This emotional bond activates areas of the brain associated with attachment, empathy, and love, making these individuals naturally hard to forget. The stronger the emotional attachment, the more frequent and intense the thoughts about them become. When we care deeply about someone, our minds constantly seek to understand their feelings, anticipate their needs, or even relive memories with them. Our brain is wired to store experiences that we deem important, and these individuals hold a significant place in our emotional narrative. This sense of connection often makes their absence feel more noticeable, and it's why, even in their physical absence, they remain front and center in our thoughts. Another factor that makes someone stay on your mind is shared experiences. When you've spent significant time with someone, you create shared memories that reinforce your emotional connection. Each moment, from laughter to tears, becomes a part of the mental tapestry that links you to that person. Our brains are incredible at storing these experiences, especially when they are tied to strong emotions. Every song, smell, or location connected to them can trigger memories, bringing them back into your thoughts with vivid clarity. Moreover, the mind tends to focus on unresolved situations. If the relationship with this person is complicated, filled with conflict, or left unfinished, the mind naturally fixates on trying to make sense of it. We seek closure or understanding, wanting to resolve the emotional tension that comes with not fully knowing where we stand. Even after time passes, our subconscious continues to search for answers, and this can lead to persistent thoughts about that person. The unresolved nature of the relationship keeps the mind engaged, continuously processing the emotional complexities involved. At times, we find ourselves thinking about someone because of the impact they've had on our growth or development. Whether this person has challenged us, supported us, or taught us valuable lessons, their influence on our lives leaves a lasting mark. We may reflect on how they've shaped us as individuals, what we've learned from them, or how we've evolved because of them. These thoughts often manifest in the form of gratitude or longing, keeping the person in our minds as we process the effects of their presence in our life. Additionally, the act of love itself can be all-consuming. Love has the unique power to dominate our thoughts, overriding the more mundane aspects of daily life. It isn't just about the emotional highs of being with someone, but also about the mental space they occupy. Love can lead to daydreams, fantasies, and an overwhelming desire to share experiences, hopes, and dreams with the person we love. This intense desire to connect can keep them constantly on our mind, no matter how far apart we may be. Our thoughts can also be influenced by the longing for companionship. In moments of solitude, we may think of someone as a way of filling the space with connection and meaning. This longing is a natural human experience, reflecting the deep need for belonging. Even if the person is not physically present, the thought of them may provide comfort, security, or a sense of warmth. Our minds can reach for what feels familiar, and when someone holds a place of importance in our hearts, they are an easy choice to occupy our thoughts during quiet moments. Sometimes, the reason someone is always on your mind has to do with their role in your personal aspirations. Perhaps they are someone you look up to, admire, or even aspire to be like. Their success, confidence, or wisdom might inspire you, leading you to think about them frequently. We are drawn to those who embody qualities we value or desire to cultivate within ourselves. By thinking about them, we align ourselves with their values or the qualities that we hope to embody. This connection drives our thoughts, making them seem ever present in our minds. Finally, It's important to recognize that the mind doesn't always prioritize thoughts consciously. Often, our thoughts about others are a result of the unconscious mind at work. The subconscious is constantly processing and reflecting on our experiences and relationships, even when we are not aware of it. This means that sometimes we might think about someone simply because they have left an impression that resonates deeply within us, even without our conscious effort. In conclusion, the reason someone is always on your mind is multifaceted. It could stem from emotional attachment, shared memories, unresolved feelings, personal growth, or simply the nature of love and human connection. The mind has a way of holding on to what is meaningful to us, and when someone plays a significant role in our lives, their presence becomes woven into the fabric of our thoughts. It is a natural and sometimes overwhelming part of being human. But in the end, it reflects the depth of the impact that person has had on you, shaping your emotions, memories, and your journey through life. There are moments in life when someone occupies your thoughts so completely that it feels like they are permanently etched in your mind. It could be a friend, a partner, a family member, or even someone you've just met. But why does this happen? Why is it that no matter what we're doing, no matter where we are, this person remains at the forefront of our consciousness? To understand this, we must look at the complex interplay between our emotions, psychology, and biology. Emotional connection first and foremost. The most significant reason someone might be on your mind is the emotional connection you share with them. Human beings are social creatures, wired to form strong bonds with others. When you connect with someone on an emotional level, whether through love, friendship, admiration, or shared experiences, your brain becomes particularly attuned to them. These emotional bonds trigger the release of chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, which are associated with happiness, attachment, and trust. When these chemicals are released, they create a sense of fulfillment and contentment, making us more likely to think about the person with whom we've formed this bond. The more you think about someone in this way, the stronger the connection becomes, keeping them on your mind. Psychological influence on a psychological level. Thinking about someone frequently may be a result of your subconscious mind trying to process emotions. Our minds are constantly working to make sense of our experiences and relationships. If someone has made a significant impact on you, whether positively or negatively, your brain will often replay interactions, conversations, and memories in an attempt to understand them better. You may find yourself contemplating past conversations, wondering what they meant or why something was said, or even imagining potential future interactions. This process can be exhausting and all-consuming, but it's a natural response as your mind seeks clarity or closure. Furthermore, if someone has become a source of emotional security or instability in your life, it's only natural that your mind would be preoccupied with them. Our minds tend to fixate on things that bring us joy or cause us distress because we are wired to either seek pleasure or avoid pain. This is a survival mechanism, as it helps us stay alert to situations that might influence our emotional or physical well-being. If this person has an undeniable effect on your mood or sense of self, your mind will gravitate toward them in an effort to predict and control the emotional outcomes tied to their presence. Biological factors. On a biological level, the human brain is remarkably sensitive to stimuli, particularly when it comes to emotional or intimate relationships. Our brains are designed to prioritize relationships that are important to our survival and well-being. This is why when someone makes a significant impact in your life, your brain continues to bring them up over and over again. It's trying to make sense of their importance to you. Neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin are responsible for regulating our mood, and when these are involved in our interactions with someone, they can cause us to think about them more frequently. This can be especially true when someone has triggered positive or negative emotions within us. Unresolved feelings. Another key reason someone may be constantly on your mind is unresolved feelings. If there is unfinished business between you and this person, whether it's an unspoken word, a missed opportunity, or a lingering conflict, your mind will naturally revisit these events in an attempt to reach closure. Unresolved emotions can create a sense of inner conflict, which your brain will try to resolve by focusing on the source of that conflict. This is especially true in situations where you feel emotionally invested but are uncertain about where things stand. Idealization or obsession. In some cases, The person who occupies your thoughts may not even be someone you know very well. They may be an idealized version of who you wish they were, or you may be fantasizing about a future with them. This tendency is common when we project our desires and fantasies onto others, imagining them as the perfect partner, friend, or confidant. This form of thinking can become obsessive, leading to excessive thoughts about the person and sometimes blurring the lines between reality and fantasy. When our desires are not being met or we feel like something is missing in our lives, we may fixate on the idea of this person fulfilling that gap. The power of memories also play a significant role in keeping someone on your mind. Our brains are wired to store emotional memories with more intensity, especially when they're tied to important life events. If this person has been part of significant moments in your life, whether positive or challenging, their presence in those memories ensures they remain in your thoughts. These memories can trigger emotional responses, reminding us of moments of happiness, love, or even pain. The role of loneliness at times, we may be more likely to think about someone if we are feeling lonely or disconnected. The mind often reaches out for connection when it's lacking in companionship or emotional support. If someone is a source of comfort or understanding, their absence can leave a void in your thoughts. This can lead to frequent mental return to that person, especially if they represent something positive or meaningful during times of isolation. Conclusion: in the end, the reasons why someone is always on your mind are varied and complex, rooted in a combination of emotions, biological responses, psychological needs, and life experiences. Whether it's the deep emotional connection you share, the unresolved issues between you, or the way your mind processes your feelings, this preoccupation speaks to the powerful nature of human relationships. It's a reminder of how much our minds and hearts can be influenced by the people we meet and the bonds we form with them. The person on your mind may be there because they are an important part of your life, or they may be there because you are still trying to understand or process your relationship with them. Regardless of the reason, it's clear that relationships have a profound impact on who we are and how we navigate the world. Understanding why someone stays in your thoughts can lead to greater self-awareness and emotional insight. It can help us to either let go of lingering attachments or appreciate the relationships that bring joy and meaning to our lives.